Hello and welcome to episode 1 of the Untitled Chronicles. Today we're going to be talking about the disappearance of Richey Edwards. Richard James Edwards was born on the 22nd of December 1967 to parents Graham and Sherry Edwards. He was born and lived in Blackwood, Wales. Richey was a musician who was the lyricist and rhythm guitarist of the alternative rock band called the Manic Street Preachers. Edwards was initially a driver and roadie for Manic Street Preachers, but he soon became accepted as the band's main spokesman and fourth member in 1989. On the 15th of May 1991, Edwards gained attention following an argument with enemy journalist Steve Lamacq, who questioned the band's authenticity and values. After a gig at the Norwich Arts Centre, Lamacq asked Edwards' seriousness towards his art, and Edwards responded by carving the words "for real" into his forearm with a razor blade. The injury required 18 stitches. Edwards suffered severe bouts of depression in his adult life and was open about it in interviews. He also self-harmed, mainly through stubbing cigarettes on his arms and cutting himself, saying, "When I cut myself, I feel so much better. All the little things that might not have been annoying to me suddenly seem so trivial. I'm concentrating on the pain. I'm not a person who can scream and shout, so this is my only outlet. It's done all very logically." Edwards suffered from insomnia and used to use alcohol to help him sleep at night. Before the release of the album The Holy Bible in 1994, he checked into the Whitchurch Hotel, and later the Priory, missing out on some of the promotional work for the album and forcing the band to appear as a three-piece at Reading Festival and Tea in the Park. Following his release from the Priory in September, Manic Street Preachers toured Europe as a four-piece band with Suede and Therapy. But what would be the last time, Edwards' final live appearance with the band was at the London Astra on December 21st, 1994. The concert ended with the band infamously smashing their equipment and damaging the lighting system, prompted by Edwards' violent destruction of his guitar towards the end of the set. On the 23rd of January 1995, Edwards gave his last interview to Japanese music magazine Music Life. Edwards disappeared on the 1st of February 1995, on the day where he and a bandmate were due to fly to the United States on a promotional tour of The Holy Bible. In the 2 weeks before his disappearance, Edwards withdrew £200 a day from his bank account. This totaled to $2,800 by the day of his scheduled flight. Some speculated that he needed money for the US trip, and it was also mentioned that he had ordered a new desk for his flat from a shop in Cardiff. However, there was no record of the desk having been paid for. The night before he disappeared, Edwards gave a friend a book called Novel with Cocaine, instructing her to read the introduction. This detailed the author staying in a mental asylum before vanishing. While staying at the Embassy Hotel in London, Edwards removed some of his books and videos from his bag. Among them was a copy of a play. Edwards wrapped them carefully in a box with a note that said, "I love you," then decorated the box like a birthday present, and decorated the outside of it with collages and literary quotes. The package was addressed to Edwards' on-off girlfriend Jo, whom he had met some years prior, although they had split up a few weeks earlier. The next morning, Edwards collected his wallet, car keys, and some Prozac, and his passport. He reportedly checked out of the hotel at 7 a.m., leaving his toiletries, packed suitcase, and some of his Prozac. He then drove to his flat in Cardiff, leaving behind his passport, his Prozac, and the toll booth receipt. In the 2 weeks that followed, Edwards was apparently spotted in the Newport passport office and at the Newport bus station by a fan who was unaware that he was missing. The fan was reported to have discussed a mutual friend, Laurie Filder, before Edwards departed. On February 7th, a taxi driver from Newport supposedly picked up Edwards from the King's Hotel and drove him around the valleys, including Edwards' hometown of Blackwood. The driver reported that the passenger had spoke in a Cockney accent, which occasionally slipped into a Welsh one, and that he had asked him if he could lie down on the back seat. Eventually they reached the Blackwood bus station, but the passenger reportedly said, "This is not the place," and then asked to be taken to the Pontypool railway station. It was later ascertained that Pontypool did not have a telephone. The passenger got out of the Severn View service station near Aust, South Gloucestershire, and paid £68 fare in cash. On the 14th of February, Edward's Vauxhall Cavalier received a parking ticket at the Seven Views service station, and on the 17th of February, the vehicle was reported as abandoned. Police discovered the battery to be dead, with evidence that the car had been lived in. The car also had photos he had taken of his family days prior. Due to the service station's proximity to the Severn Bridge, a known suicide site, it is widely believed that Edwards had jumped from the bridge. Many people who knew Edwards, however, have said that he was never the type to contemplate suicide, and he himself was quoted in 1994 saying, "In terms of the S word, that does not enter my mind, and it has never done. In terms of an attempt, because I am stronger than that. I might be a weak person, but I can take pain." Since then, Edwards has reportedly been spotted in a market in Goa, India, and on the islands of Fortaventura and Lanzarote. There have been other alleged sightings of Edwards, especially in the years immediately following his disappearance. However, none of these have proved conclusive, and none of them have been confirmed by investigators. In 2018, it was revealed that the bridge's toll receipt was a 24-hour clock, meaning he would have crossed the bridge at 2:45 a.m. rather than 2:45 p.m., which is previously thought for 23 years. The investigation itself has received criticism. In the 1999 book, Everything, a book about manic street preachers, Simon Price states that aspects of the investigation were far from satisfactory. Price claims that the police may not have taken Edward's mental state into account when prioritizing his disappearance. While his family have had the option of declaring him legally dead from 2002 onwards, they chose not to for many years, and his status remained open as a missing person, until the 23rd of November 2008, when he became officially presumed dead. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Untitled Chronicles.